Why is it when you have an answer, you ask more questions?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching this show on YouTube or wherever you're going to download your podcast, always remember, this show is free, and never forget how much I appreciate your support. Look, my everyday viewers, listeners who, you watched this show yesterday, you heard me offer a snapshot of what the depth chart's going to look like when the spring camp opens less than a week. Both offense, defense, based on their winter conditioning workouts, that's what this thing is really all about right now. If you're trying to keep score, as I mentioned, just keep it, write it down with your Etch-n-Sketch. Pencil. Do not use pen, because again, this is just such a preliminary type of thing. Whatever the coaches have seen on film from the previous year or years, and based on what these guys are doing during their winter conditioning, that's how the pecking order is being picked for the time being. So, even though you have some answers, I gave you an idea of what the depth chart can look like. It does raise some questions. The biggest questions are going to involve, the biggest players on the roster. So I'm going to focus on the offensive line and the defensive line, and some questions, some things that we want to look for during spring camp. Now that we know who some of the players are. Basically, who is available, but we don't know what any of that means right now. So I'm gonna raise some hypothetical questions, and then I'm gonna provide some answers. And since I started on the offensive side of the ball on yesterday's episode of Locked On USC, I'm going to start with the D line in the first segment for the show. Remember, these guys are earning their spots for whatever they are. It's for a variety of reasons. So take all this with a grain of salt when I review the defensive line depth chart. Defensive end: Solomon Tuliaupupu, Anthony Lucas, Devin Tompkins, David Peavy, Lorenzo Cowan. At defensive tackle, Bear Alexander, Nate Clifton, Elijah Hughes, Jide Abasiri, Ratumanu Bulabalavu. At nose tackle, Isaiah Rakes, Kobe Pepe, Dejan Lafitte, Carlon Jones. And the other defensive end, Jamil Muhammad, Braylon Shelby, Cameron Fountain, Sam Green, Garrett Pomerantz. So here are some questions that I came up with. Keep, some things to watch, look out for. First thing, fix the run defense. Literally. Eric Henderson, Sean Nua, what they need to do quickly is identify the guys while that new defensive scheme is being installed. And then once they figure out, all right, these are the guys I know I can work with. The question that needs to be answered, and sooner rather than later, is how many more guys will they need to add from the transfer portal? And again, I think whatever answers we get out of spring camp are only going to be partially answered. Can these guys, in other words, if we take a peek back to USC's run defense in 2023, these stats are pathetic. A run defense that ended up ranked 12th in the Pac-12 and 117th nationally. Reminder, there's only 130 FBS teams. There's also the perception issue with USC's defensive line, that the optics are out there that USC doesn't like to, or they can't play a physical style of football. Well, Coach Lynn, he spent 1 year as a defensive coordinator at UCLA. And in that 1 year, he showed that a unit can make a pretty significant improvement in 1 year's time. Like I mentioned, USC's run defense sucked last year. And that's being nice. UCLA, they were the number 2 rushing defense in the country. This is what you need to remember, USC fans. That UCLA run defense, led by their defensive line, yeah, they held USC to 3 yards rushing on 22 rushing attempts. And I get it, sack yardage that gets figured into the net count, but I don't care. USC only being able to gain 3 yards rushing, that's terrible. I want USC's defensive line to be able to impose that type of, create that kind of run wall so other teams are saying, man, we were terrible against USC's defensive line. Another question. Solo right now is he's the starter on one defensive end spot. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? There is not another player who has fought harder to make an impact in his time that he's been at USC. I mean, when he came there, he was a linebacker, one of the best in the country. His career has been marred by injury, unfortunately. He made the switch in 2022 to the defensive line, and he actually played in all 14 games, and he was starting to really make an impact. And when I say make an impact, become good at the position. I mean, he had 10 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2.5 sacks. He didn't get a chance to build off of what he did in 22 last year because he got hurt in fall camp. Anthony Lucas is another question. Remember last spring, coaching staff, his teammates raved about him. Never showed up during the season. So again, whatever they saw in 2023, that needs to show up in 2024. Elijah Hughes, he's sliding inside a defensive tackle. Braylon Shelby, what's it going to be like with his hand in the dirt at defensive end? Other questions. How quickly can these second-year players stay in that 2 deep? Are they going to be developed quick enough where the staff doesn't have to go hit the transfer portal for more guys? Does Bear Alexander have enough help inside? Tyrone Taleni, he's moved on. Stanley Taufo, he's moved on. Now, USC, Coach Raleigh did bring in Isaiah Rakes from Texas A&M, Nate Clifton from Vanderbilt, 2 SEC guys, starters. So is that going to be enough? I think at worst, Coach Nua, Coach Henderson, they're getting experience and added depth. Again, I mentioned you're getting 2 SEC level guys. At best, you're finding guys who, are going to be able to become starters. And what about the 2024 freshmen? Can those guys provide depth? We saw that Elijah Hughes, we saw that Braylon Shelby was able to get a chance to play last year. Well, we've got a new system being installed this year. You've got Cameron Fountain, you've got Carlon Jones, you've got Jade Abasiri, you've got Lorenzo Cowan. I would hope, and I mean this in a good way, that none of those guys are even needed this year. Because if they're not needed, that means the guys who are here ahead of them are getting the job done. So will the defensive line be ready when USC kicks off in Las Vegas against LSU? That answer, way down the road. Coming out of the spring, defensive line, Eric Henderson, Sean Nua, have your inventory list prioritized and have these guys ready to jump right into fall camp, because that's what I'm looking for. Those are the key things I need to see coming out of spring. I gave you some of the question marks that I'm considering. What are your questions? What are you looking for? Hit me up in the comment section. You like what you're hearing? You like what you're watching? If you're on YouTube, I know you do. I need to become a subscriber. I need you to smash that thumbs up button, and do not forget to hit the bell notification button. That way you're covered every time there is a Locked on USC episode, which is every day. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All right, we're going to continue with the depth chart tangent. I went over the defensive line in the first segment. Let's switch sides of the ball. Let's talk about that offensive line. What are some of the questions that we need to explore this spring camp? Again, real quickly, let's go over the depth chart. As I know it, left tackle, Elijah Page and Justin Ta'uanu. You've got at left guard, Emmanuel Prignon, Amos Talalele, and I really do hope I'm pronouncing it right, Jack Susner. At center, Jonah Monheim. Killian, found out what his nickname is. It's Kill Switch. Killian Killswitch O'Connor and Jason Zandamela. Thank you, everyday listener, watcher, Christian Totten, for getting me that Kill Switch nickname. I love that, by the way. Great nickname. And then at right guard, Alani Noah, Cooper Lovelace, and Kaylon Miller. Was it Kaylon? Kaylon. Right tackle, Mason Murphy, Tobias Raymond, Kololo Kahia Ta'aga. And as I mentioned on yesterday's episode, but let me clarify because apparently there's a little bit of a misunderstanding. You've got guys who are not on campus yet, Aiden Trader, Makai Saina, and then Gino Quinones, we know, is rehabbing. He had that ACL tear last year, second game of the season. And then you didn't hear Micah Benuelos' name. Well, I hinted that he might be recovering from, going through some rehab. Wink, wink. Remember, if Lincoln Riley doesn't say it, didn't happen. Well, family member from Micah watches the show on the regular. He chimed in. He's doing a little rehab right now. So no, he's not considering transferring. And stay tuned for the third segment. I got a funny Micah Benuelos update. Roy, I hope you're sitting down. Anyways, just like the D-line depth chart, keep score in pencil. There's going to be constant changes. And eventually, I think the word, and I'm using finger quotes, or, is going to be inserted between names. So, key questions, things to watch out for. Pardon me. And I'm going to piggyback off a little bit of what we're doing over there. We've had this whole position group series on wearesc.com. So go check it out. If you're not a subscriber yet, spend $1, become a subscriber. Anyways, where does Jonah Monheim fit in best with the offensive line? You know it. He is an offensive line Swiss Army knife. He plays both tackle positions. He plays both guard spots. And now he's going to be the projected starting center. The goal is to have Elijah Page and Mason Murphy be the bookends. Secure those tackle spots, left tackle and right tackle, respectively. Something else that cannot be overlooked is why Jonah needs to play at center. One, because I think that's going to be his best spot in the NFL. You don't see too many 6'5", 285, 290-pound centers. you need somebody who can make the line calls. And that's going to be what Jonah is going to be asked to do. It's going to be, and I cannot emphasize this enough, it is going to be imperative for Coach Josh Henson, to feel confident with those tackle positions. Otherwise, and I feel really strongly that when the spring transfer portal window opens, a veteran offensive tackle, maybe even two, is going to be targeted. But if they can't buy, and you know me, the transfer portal recruiting, it's all about bidding. I know you're recruiting, but if you can't buy that elite talent in the transfer portal, Josh Henson, he might be forced to move Jonah back outside to one of the tackle spots and let Killswitch take over at center. This is why it's so important that second-year player Elijah Page and fourth-year player Mason Murphy lock down those outside tackle positions. What about Gino Quinones? Remember him? When he's healthy, what's going to be his role in 2024? He's not going to be ready to participate in spring camp. If he does, it's going to be very limited. So is he going to be a starter? Or is he going to be that swing guy off the bench? We know, like Jonah, he can play all three positions inside. I mentioned, does Elijah Page, does he lock down that left tackle spot? He's a true sophomore. Are we rushing him into a situation? Maybe. He got some playing time last year. He got his feet wet. He played extensively in the Holiday Bowl. I think he's ready to take the next step. Look, that is probably the best way to go about this. Develop your guys that you recruit. The last couple of years, the coaching staff has tried the transfer portal route, and I don't know, the results have been mixed. I guess we can debate it. Year one, Bobby Haskins came over. Last year, you brought over Michael Tarquin, Jarrett Kingston. I don't know how much you want to lay that they didn't meet the anticipation level, the expectation level when they came over. All spring last year, they were playing out of position, and I just don't know if they ever got comfortable. We're turning the page. Time to move forward. If a true sophomore, Elijah, and Mason Murphy can be consistent, take over that right tackle spot, everything's good. But obviously, both positions are going to be a big topic all spring camp. So the next question is, what happens with the other guys who were freshmen in 2023? Alani Noah, okay, well, he started the first game, and he had some really nice moments. He also, he struggled. He's a freshman. Most freshmen are going to struggle. And you're asking him to play the offensive line. He was one of the younger guys on the team, too. And he was also dealing with some personal challenges. Nothing, negative or nefarious, but, family issues. I really anticipate him, Alani now being a year older, bigger, stronger. I think he's going to take that right guard spot, and he's just going to make it his for the next 2 to 3 years. Micah Banuelos, Tobias Raymond, Amos Talalele, they need to be ready to be the number 2 guys in 2024. Last year it was a redshirt year. It was a weight room year. I saw Tobias, I think it was back in January. He was rolling with Elijah Page through the village. I was getting something to eat. And I was like, whoa, dude, he looks massive. In a perfect world, these guys aren't being called upon to play big minutes this season, even as a backup, but they need to be ready just in case. Injuries happen. That right tackle spot, I keep coming back, and I keep wanting to mention Mason Murphy's name. I put him in my USC must-see guys this year. When pigs fly, look up to the sky type of guy. I've been watching Mason since his days working out with Giant Skills. When COVID had everything shut down, he was out there working out in the park with other offensive linemen, other defensive linemen, trying to get better, honing his craft. He's always had the size. And I, by the way, I stick around for the third segment. I know you will, but I just saw him in Easton Mascarenas-Arnold's vlog video. Whoa. Mason, right now, straight up badass looking man. Yeah, he looks like a full-grown adult. Now he just needs to play consistently, like he's a man among boys, because that's what he's going to be. There's no doubt about it. Coach Henson's group is going to be under the microscope, but we just have to face that fact. Last year, they didn't perform up to the level that everyone thought they should or anticipated they should. And this year, it's going to be a lot younger. So he needs to be able to make it work with a young core of guys with a little bit of experience. That's, you got some experienced guys sprinkled in there. Jonah Monheim, Mason Murphy. You got Cooper Lovelace in there. We'll see what happens. So those are my questions, my things to look for this spring camp on the offensive line. What do you want me to focus on? I'll be out there practice whatever they allow me to see when they allow us to see it. What do you want me to look for? What are you looking for? What are some of your questions? Hit me up in the comments section, and I'll answer those for you. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. And you can bet on all of your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets. You want to do some live same-game parlays? You want to get some exclusive prop bets? Then head over to FanDuel and type in this, FanDuel.com/lockedon. And you can now shoot your shot. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. All right, we're going to have a little bit of fun here at the end of the show. You know me. I love to get to know the players behind the scenes. I'm a people person. I love to observe. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold, linebacker transfer from Oregon State. He's going to be a fan favorite. He's already a favorite of mine. And the linebacker, he's into vlogging. Vlogging, V-L-O-G-G. Basically turn the camera on, and it's whatever you see, everybody else gets to see. It's a day in the life of Easton Mascarenas-Arnold. So go check it out. A lot of fun. It's about 20, 25 minutes. Video number 1, A Day in the Life, USC edition. He actually made this video about a month ago, but he just recently published it. So it starts off, his day starts off at 4 a.m. That's when the alarm goes off. And then he takes you through his day. Starts off getting up, brushing the teeth, getting himself fresh, ready to go. And then it's off to prehab. Yep, the cold bath. He has to talk himself into doing the whole body plunge. I can tell you, I've done this before. Sitting in 40 degrees even for a few minutes, it hurts. And you'll see, he screams really loudly. I've been there. I feel the pain. You know what else I saw? I loved seeing Sam Green make a cameo. He was in the locker room really early getting ready. I've seen he's taken that next step of development. If you know, you know. Then it's time to work out with the team, right? Get that morning run in it's still dark outside. We've all seen the hype videos, the guys working out on Howard Jones Field. That's what was going on. After that, shower, get some breakfast grub, go take a quickie class. I believe he was taking a class with Eli Newby. He got a nap squeezed in before the defensive team meeting at 3 o'clock. And in between all of that, okay, throughout the video, there's a bunch of cameos with the guys that he's bumping into along the way, all of his teammates. And again, I love this kind of stuff. So some of the things, you have a few guys who are having we'll call it an in-depth discussion about a cookbook. Are you a cook if you need a cookbook to get you through it? Eric Gentry, I guess he took a philosophy class and he tried to lay some logic down. Go check it out. You have Prophet Brown, a lookalike contest. Prophet disagrees because he's at least a full foot taller than the guy they say he looks like. Funny moment. Another funny moment. I literally LOL'd when Easton Mascarenas, he did his impersonation of Terry Crews doing the pectoral flexes. If you've seen the commercial, former football player Terry Crews, got big pecs. He can flex them, one by one. You know how people can make their eyebrows go up one by one? You can do that. Anyways, Easton he had the electrodes attached. He was doing some rehab, and it was muscle stimulation. Awkward moment. It's like, oh, whoa. Also, not sure, but I think I learned I'm not going to put the camera on Benny Wiley when he's in his workout mode. And the first part, he had his mean face on. I was like, who's this for? Who's going to see this? Easton's just like, dude, it's my video. It's for me, my channel. All of a sudden, you got mean face from Benny. Good stuff. Memo to Mason Cobb. Keep the bling hidden. His last name blinded me. He wanted to make sure he showed off his swag. Nice. Keep it hidden. Something else I learned about Easton. He and I would get along great at the meal table. I think we have very similar taste buds. His breakfast, he was just loading up. Scrambled eggs, bacon, tater tots. And he took the ketchup and just squeezed it all over the top. People give me grief for saying, hey, Mark, why are you putting ketchup on your eggs? Go ahead. I dare you. Ask Easton why he's putting ketchup on his eggs. Yeah. Might not be so might not be so ready and willing and able to say, hey, why are you putting ketchup on your eggs? Easton's a big dude. The takeaway, before I get to the takeaway, I also saw Bryson Shaw. Dude, 5 servings of orange chicken and vegetables. He was trying to emphasize what I'm about to say the takeaway was. These guys are being told, you need to get bigger. So, he was packing on the calories. I think the funniest part of the whole video, and again, Micah Banuelos, this was his first highlight. It was a one-legged twerk. Roy, go check it out. Like I said, I love this type of stuff. Getting to know the young men when they're not playing football. Who are they? Their personalities. Because when you see when you see these types of things, watch these types of videos, I remind myself that, you know what? They might be young men, but they're still kids at heart. They're in college. I think we forget that sometimes. So there it is. I enjoyed it. I became a subscriber. I need you to become a subscriber of this channel as well as Easton's channel. And we'll keep you updated on what's going on in the life of USC football. That's it for this episode of Locked on USC. I'll be back again tomorrow. By the way, USC men basketball team, they are taking on the Washington Huskies first round tournament, Pac-12, Las Vegas. I will have a post game reaction, I guess. It'll be one of the segments. I will go over what happened. And again, more football, because we're less than a week away from spring camp. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.